Okay, welcome. Did it start recording? I didn't hear it say anything to me.
Yes, it's recording.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome everybody to Middle School Mondays webinar, and I am Brandy Parker. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. If you have not already, please go ahead and click in the chat box our today's meet. And please go ahead and put in your first and last name, and you should be seeing it right now over on the left side of my screen. The My Resources site, that is a Google site that I created that has lots of interesting resources, and I'll be referring to it a little bit later, so I wanted y'all to go ahead and have that link. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. That is what I was just talking about right there, but I remembered that last time we were unable to click on it, so I sent it in that chat box. And if some of y'all wouldn't mind put some questions or chat in the chat box and let other people know as they come in to go to that today's meet chat. Just a reminder, I teach business and computer science. This is my ninth year teaching that. I did 5 years at the high school level, and this is my 4th year at the middle school level. Today, what we're going to talk about is digital literacy, and I've tried to really hone in on really good examples of digital literacy or citizenship resources because there are so many out there. But it is a hot topic right now, so we're going to go ahead and talk about those in just a minute. Some programming resources, and I know that we talk about code.org and Scratch, which is CS First software, and I'm going to talk about some other options that you might be considering, and I'll talk about why I'm considering other options in just a minute. Some computer networking resources, and then just some other kind of random great resources that I have come across recently. So just jumping right into digital literacy resources. I am going to start with Kathy Sprock's Guide to Everything. Now, if you are not familiar with Kathy Sprock, I had the ability and the privilege of meeting her at the ISTE conference in Atlanta this past summer. She is amazing, and when she says Guide to Everything, it truly is. I'm going to click on this resource and let you guys see what it's about. Not only does it talk about literacy when we talk about writing and reading, but it especially talks about how to be literate in the digital age. Now, I'm hoping that my internet really doesn't take too long to update for you guys. There it comes. Good. And it's been running a little bit slow. As it's coming up, Kathy Sprock gives us many different resources when we're talking about how to start at the most basic level of technology integration and move up to full integration in our classrooms. Now, I know that we have lots of technology options. We have computer labs full of computers, but really making sure that we're utilizing that technology appropriately and making sure our students get the most out of using the computers. So you see here, she has this over on the right side. She has this literacies in the digital age, and right here about midway through, there's the digital literacy. She even has broken them up into different sections and different ideas and how we can use those and what we can expect out of those. So if you have not had the opportunity, now I know this is a lot of links here that you're seeing, and I'm just kind of scrolling down a little bit, but she has organized her information in such a way that it is easy to read, see, and go to the different sections where you might be interested. So for instance, right here, economic literacy, and some of these we talked about on a previous in a previous webinar, but here's some great resources, lesson plans, media literacy, sometimes when we talk about those. I just wanted to introduce you. Now I'm going to scroll back up just for a second. This is her guide to everything, but also there is a link right here, and this will show you some different information about specifically Bloom's taxonomy and how it applies to the SAMR model, which I'll show you where I've broken that down on my website as well. And it's amazing information and how you can really apply it and put it in your lesson plans so that you can tell your administrators when they're evaluating you about it. So I'm going to go next and show you how I've broken it down for you. I provided this website to you guys. It was called iHeartTech, or iHeart Technology, and how much I love technology. And while we wait for it to come up, what it has been is it's just really been sitting there for me lately, because I received so many apps and so many resources when I went to the ISTE conference over the summer. That's International Society for Technology and Education. I received so many resources that I became a little bit overwhelmed, as I'm sure you guys have been in these webinars, maybe a little bit. But so I've gone through, and this is what I wanted to show you. So when we talk about apps, I know there's all kinds of mobile apps and ones that are only specifically about iOS only, but see here, I have gone through and started trying some of them, and I've actually weeded out a bunch of them and separated them into specific content areas. So that makes it a little bit easier and not so overwhelming if you go to look through these resources. So we have some that are about presentations and movie making, and you see here the programming, some of the programming ones that I'm going to go over in just a few minutes are listed here as well. Also, I have added a differentiation tab, and these are over some of the different pieces of information that I have gone over in a different one of my webinars. I just wanted you to have these right here, and you could see some of those different aspects we went over. And as you go through, digital literacy is what I was trying to get to. There we go. So you can see here I have them all listed out, what their topics are, what age groups they go to. They're all listed here as well. So I just wanted you guys to see that. And I'm going to go back and check just for a second to see if you have questions, please make sure, look in the chat box and go to our Today's Meet chat box and oh, good point. And go ahead and let me know if you have any questions. Wanda said that the differentiation section of my website needs permission, so I'll work on that. Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate that. So I'm going to move on to, those were just a couple good sources. Now, when we're talking about specific lesson plans and actual videos and resources, some of y'all might be familiar with Common Sense Media. This is one of the best ones that I have found, and if you go to this website right here, it actually will take you specifically to actual lesson plans. They tell you the teacher should say this, the student should complete this, and here are the videos that go with it, talking about different topics like internet safety, digital footprints, self-image and identity, because that is very much related to how the students could act and things that they might be getting into or looking for on the internet. So you see here we have some of these, they have them broken up right here, grades K through 12, K2, different grade levels. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit and you see grades 6 through 8. Now you also may find that some of these might be a little bit young for our students, so you can continue going and you can get 9 through 12. Now I do definitely recommend you going through and watching the videos before you show them to the students just to make sure, and you might not want the entire video. So you see all these different topics as they go across the top here as well. On the educators page, they have assessments, and they also, when you click on one of these topics, you can download the lesson materials. There are student packets. There's information to read. There You can watch the videos over here, or you can download the video and save them. So that's pretty cool. And it tells you what you should do. Watch the video, how long it lasts, and then what to explain and what to show. So I thought that was pretty cool. And there's tons, tip sheets, actual handouts that the students can complete and check for their knowledge. So I thought those were pretty cool. Next, of course, you know I cannot have a session without talking about EverFi, and I don't mean to be so pushy about EverFi, but man, it is really, really amazing. They go over topics. My 6th and 7th graders have absolutely loved Ignition, which is specifically about digital citizenship, and they talk about internet safety, buying a computer, parts of the computer. Even if our sixth graders already went over the information, I still have my 7th graders do this as a review. It definitely helps this careers in technology. It'll talk about careers in business and careers in technology, so that covers 2 of our standards right there in this EverFi course. And the kids, my 6th graders came in today and I said we were going to move on from EverFi, and they all were really sad, and can we just do it one more day? And so I let them do it another day, and that doesn't usually happen in some of the module programs that I have been doing with my students. So that is EverFi. Remember, you should contact Laura Mayfield for free access. She is amazing. Anytime I have any kind of snag or glitch I find in the program, I'll email her immediately, and usually within that same day, if not that same class period, she'll have something fixed or ask me for a specific student's name. So they're very responsive, and I like them. I like EverFi a lot. So that was digital citizenship with EverFi. And EasyTech. Now, EasyTech is through learning.com, and someone else said in our webinar chat that they love digital literacy in EverFi as well, because there are lesson plans in EverFi, and they actually tell you, here's what you should say, here's what the students will probably respond like, and it helps you along. Or it could be a standalone module as you go around and you're checking what the students are doing. So EasyTech is through learning.com, and you do have to log in to this. Now, there are parts that are free, and there are parts that are obviously paid. But one thing that I liked was that it talks about the next generation assessments and the skills, and the ISTE, that's what I've been referring to earlier, ISTE standards, and keyboarding. So let's say that you want to use it for digital literacy or digital citizenship, and it also has a keyboarding component in talking about online safety. So some of these, you can see there's case studies and examples of how people have used them in their classroom, and you also can see curriculum samples here, what kind of stuff you might learn, 6th to 8th graders. Computing in the cloud, that I was talking to Mr. Pritchard, who sets us up. I was telling him that we have been trying to employ Microsoft 365 and roll out all of those usernames and passwords, which has been just massive undertaking. And talking about computing in the cloud would be a vital unit or module for us. I know some of y'all might already have those, or even if you are a Google certified school and you have Google Apps for Education, computing in the cloud would be huge. Mobile devices are going to be huge. Whenever you talk about BYOD or BYOT, whatever you guys call it, is going to be really important. So this could be a great resource. So I just wanted to show you that. I thought that you might like to look at that and see it. So I'm going to close that one. Now that was called EasyTech, and notice that it says it is for BYOD and one-to-one programs. But it can be for, I consider myself a one-to-one classroom because I have one device for every single student and they have to use that device. So next I am going to be talking about NS Teens, and it is actually games and tween videos about staying safe online. And I have another teacher in my county who uses this a good bit and loves it. It is put on by NetSmarts. And the videos, there is a section that is specifically about teens and a section about tweens. So you have to be really careful that you make sure you see which one you're using. But in NetSmarts, sorry, I have a little bit of pause because, like I said, my internet's running just a little bit slow today. You can see right here, well, actually, this one right here is teaching digital citizenship using Disney, so that could be a good option right there that I don't even have in our PowerPoint today. But you see right here, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is actually what is putting or sponsoring this website. But you can see it's NetSmarts Workshop. We have teens and tweens, and this one over here that says kids is actually for elementary school kids. So, but there's educator resources, and it is free, and anything that I can use that is just different. I don't want to keep on doing the same exact resources every single year so that my students see, or every single 9 weeks, so my students see that I'm updating as the new curriculum is updating, or I'm updating as the new resources are updating. So on this, I'm on the educators page. You see we have teaching resources, and you can download presentations that you can download, and different kinds of posters or things to decorate your classroom that you might like. So this is a fun one, has definitely been thumbs up from a colleague of mine in my county that it's really positive, and they have all kinds of things specifically about online safety and cyberbullying. So that's a positive one. And that was NS Teens. I have been a proponent of discovery education. I, for some reason, did not know how much information, resources, videos, streaming they had. So they have one that is called Think Before You Link, and it is about cyber safety, cyber security, and cyber ethics. So I'm going to show you guys that. And I have found that I didn't even know that I could go to my media center and ask the media specialist, and if your county has purchased Discovery Education logins, there it is, just there for you. I don't have to pay any more out of my budget, and it's already there. But even if you don't have a login from your county, didn't purchase any logins, there are still tons of free tools, resources, information, and this is one of them. So it's saying digital tools are at our students' fingertips, and we have to find a way to make sure that we are staying up with the times. And also it is about Intel security, so that's one of the sponsors. And you see here there are resource guides, and notice I have not even logged in to this, and I have all these resources, curriculum modules, and I can even skip and go to the information. So, sorry, that's probably not something I should have done, because then it has to. And so I'm not sure if you guys heard that, but basically it was starting to talk about what it said on the screen, think before you link, and digital safety. So I think that could be a good program. It might be more geared towards our 6th graders because it's a little bit young, but it's still good information for all students to have. Now here is some more information, and I'm just going to periodically go back and forth, making sure I check to make sure there are no questions in our chat box. Now this one is called Google Web Curriculum, and this one is about identifying online tricks and scams, credibility of online content, and digital footprints. This is absolutely free and open source, and it is wonderful for all grade levels. So you can see here they actually have 3 different classes, and for those of you who are possibly not, because I can't use a video for every single one of my classes or every single one of my students. I give my students the option to read information or have a screen reader that reads to them of the information, or to watch a video, because I know myself, I personally learn better by reading, and I have some of my students who are the same way. So everything might not be perfect to use a video every time. So we have here, Become an Online Sleuth, and it goes and it says it also has pre and post assessments for student activities, managing your digital footprint, and that same one, identifying tricks and scams online. And so as you click on these, you'll be able to see exactly, it walks you through, it comes up a PDF, and you're able to look at it, download it, save it. It's absolutely free, and it's also sponsored by iKeepSafe and child safety experts. So it's a great curriculum, and it's a good option, because you might decide that you want to do some stuff with your 6th graders, different stuff with your 7th graders, so that you can keep doing those from 9 weeks or year to year. This next resource is not exactly the same as the one I was showing you a minute ago. That was your web center or your web resources from Google. This one is your Google Safety Center. And as I click on it, one thing that just jumps out at me as I'm waiting for it to come up is YouTube privacy, safety, privacy and security safety on YouTube. That is, I need that myself. I need lessons on that myself. So I think that would definitely be a good option, at least for your students to be able to see how to do that, because some of you I know have YouTube completely blocked, or you only have access to YouTube Education. So those safety measures are already put in place for you, but how can we help the kids and families and parents stay safe while they are at home and they don't have those same filters or safety measures? So we have online shopping tips, tech savvy, Internet 101, you see all these different ones. YouTube Safety Center, and different topics. Even teaching parents tech. You could put these resources online on your class website, on your Class Edmodo site, and give tips to your parents as well. So that is Google Safety Center. Cybersmart is a new one that I found yesterday, and it says it's has topics for all ages and talks about cyber safety. Make sure, as we're waiting for it to come up, just want to repeat one more time, make sure in the chat box I have given the Today's Meet chat box link, so that you can go to that chat and enter and be able to ask questions or see what everybody else's questions everyone else is checking or asking, excuse me. Now, Cybersmart is, we have different grade levels here, and we have ones for schools. You can see, I'm going to click on, you have teacher resources right down there at the bottom. And this is going to have videos, it's going to have games, it's going to ask them questions, help stop cyberbullying, and ask questions and show comics that maybe have been made. So there's quizzes about what would you do if this popped up, things like that. So I thought this looked really fun and helping our students to be cyber smart while they're on the internet. Notice there is, when I clicked on schools at the top, resources and lesson plans, school-wide resources, what grade levels we have right here. Notice there are certain topics over here, so you might want to just check these out before you immediately throw them to students. But a lot of them looked really cool, and I think I'm definitely going to be working on incorporating these into my classes. That was Cybersmart. Okay. We're coming close to moving to the next topic. So now, I know that we have excellent resources like code.org, and we have Scratch, which Scratch is also on code.org, but I talked about how wonderful CS First is, and I got all those free resources and free headphones, and I still am an absolute sold and 100% proponent of CS First. I love them, which is Scratch. But we recently had a walkthrough from the STEM state director, and it was kind of like a pre-certification visit to see, are we on the right, along the right lines to head towards certification. And some of my students were doing Google Sites and HTML coding, and they were also ones who maybe were not there yet, were doing Scratch coding. And her comment was, the director's comment was, second graders can do Scratch. It needs to be much more advanced in your STEM program. And since STEM is supposed to be spread out to all students and made available to all students, you really should step up your programming or coding sites that you're using. So are you using Python, JavaScript, Java? What are you using with your students? So if you guys put in the chat box real quick, what are you guys using with your students? If you are, now I understand not everyone is, not every county or even every school is trying for STEM certification, but my school, actually all middle schools in my county are attempting to become STEM certified schools. So I see some are saying Scratch, some are saying HTML. It is hard because with SLOs testing, and it's not exactly explicitly listed in our curriculum to say teach coding. It's difficult, and I understand time constraints. So I went through and found some. Now Sphero is, I see some are saying Scratch, some are also saying HTML. Sphero is one that I saw when I went to a STEM conference or forum in Athens, Georgia this past October, maybe. And it was one that was specifically used with it was a sphere, and basically you programmed, whether it was using the web or using your tablet or your phone or whatever it was, you can download for free the app, and you use actual real coding, lines of code, to make the sphere move back and forth. And it was really cool. You could also change colors and stuff like that. So that's something that I'm going to be investigating. Now, you did have to purchase the sphere, and they were $100 per sphere. But it was so cool. So investigate into this, and I'm also going to investigate whether we can do some kind of web version without actually having this sphere, I'm sure you can. But I'm going to be investigating that. I just wanted to show you that. Lightbot is one that you can also get from code.org, and it is not necessarily a where you write lines of code, but it does give maybe the beginner students a little bit more experience, and at least it is something different. It's not constantly moving the Angry Bird to different spots by drag and drop using that object-oriented programming. Now, I am definitely not downing the object-oriented programming like that is on code.org using Blockly. I love it, and I think it's wonderful for those beginners, but according to the STEM director, we really need to be stepping it up a lot. GamePress, Hopscotch, and CargoBot are iOS only, and I'm not going to click on those because it'll just take you to the apps, the iTunes, or excuse me, the App Store for Apple, but they are awesome. 2 out of the 3 are free, and they are really fun and actually can start really basic and get much more advanced. Toca Builders, I'm going to click on now, and Robot Hackers are much more advanced, and they are web-based, and or you can do them on Android devices as well, or iOS. And you can see here it's starting to come up. But it's going to be all about building and create these different guys and make them move by using lines of code. So you can see here, you can see in just a second when it updates for you, there is Apple App Store, the Android store, and on your Amazon Kindle Fire store. So you also can see kind of where it came from, designers, stuff like that. So that's a good option, and I'm going to just, the Robot Hackers is great also, so you should definitely look into that. So that's kind of why I've started looking into new or different programming sites. What I want to do is I want to have a class that is strictly JavaScript or HTML coding or something like that, but that is a good point, Carrie Beth. This is why we need to rewrite our curriculum. Now, I have not heard any updates on when the new standards are going to be revamped. Like I said at the very beginning of our webinar series, that Delta Hagen said that we just have to start from the very beginning, and it's a process of first getting approval to be able to start rewriting the curriculum. Have you heard anything else, Carrie Beth, or anyone else about any dates or timelines of new curriculum? So I haven't heard anything either, but
Brandy.
I'm going to, oh, yes, sir.
Yay, right up my alley here, I can tell y'all. Dr. Barbara Wall used to be the CTA director in Houston County, has been hired to be the new state CTAE director, and she starts in April. And as soon as she starts up and gets everything under control, then we will be looking at updating our middle school curriculum for all of the courses and program areas so that we align our middle school programs to the high school clusters, and so there's once again a 6-12 process. So with the changes this past year that have affected, that has slowed down the process, but we will be doing a lot of updating and taking in a lot of the ideas that the teachers have been submitting and providing and suggesting. So if you are interested in this process, please make sure that you let Delta know, and then we'll be able to work with you and bring forward. Also, if you could identify a business partner that you would be able to bring along as well with you, somebody that you've worked with in your local area that would be a good person or a good company that would be able to know more about your program. That would also be helpful.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, John. That is awesome. Awesome to hear. One question I did have that others might be interested in, as we get these new computer networking and information technology pathways, are they thinking that there might be a middle school program or middle school curriculum towards that information technology? Do you know? Okay, while we wait for that, we're going to move on so I can show you, speaking of computer networking and information technology. This is one where when I finally found computer networking resources, and I found some that were at thenewboston.org, and I shared those with you guys, and that's what I currently use on our business teacher binder and my class binder. When I found those, I took those and ran with them, and that's just been exactly what I've been using from the start to finish anytime I need to use computer networking. But I thought maybe this was an area that we might be a little bit lacking in for some resources. So one area, as I pull these up, if you would put in the chat box if you use something different or you have a good resource for computer networking. This is for our 7th and our 8th grade. Mainly 8th grade is where this lies in our standards. And PBS Learning Media is a website that I have not been introduced to until recently, and it just happens to be perfect for what our content, or excuse me, what our standards say that we need to be going over, types of networks, the structure of LAN, WAN, topologies, things like that. So this is PBS Learning Media, and it is open source. I did not have to log into this or anything. And so when I click on this launch button that you see here, it'll come up in just a second. As I'm waiting for it to come up. Wanda, add-on for information technology. I saw the add-on for, or endorsement, excuse me, endorsement for computer science, and it required quite a bit of classes. I have looked into it, and I can get you information in the near future. I can send it out in an email, but I believe that Delta Hagen sent out information on endorsement for computer science, and that would be what I believe you're talking about there. And it's pretty lengthy. I'm sure it's definitely worth it, but man, it's pretty intense. So this here I thought was pretty cool. It has graphics. You can see I can scroll down, go to the next button, and it has information, talks about the LAN networks, things that might be attached and set up, and how they might be sending data, what kind of information they might be sending. So I thought that was pretty cool, especially since it's free and you don't have to log in. It could be just something that's a link that you put on your website, and it opens up its own window here. So I thought that was a pretty cool one. So it also goes into network structures and talks about different ways to connect different types of networks. So I thought that was cool. Also, there is support materials and other maybe if you have students who finish early or ones who are really interested in this area, you can see other topics that are related to this. And support materials, let's see what's in that. discussion questions that you could talk about maybe in your class that go along with it. Maybe you could have your students answer those questions as they go through and read the information and watch the different materials. Also, as I go, I would recommend go and look through this PBS Learning Media if you have not. They do have a lot of those documentaries and different areas. I found that ours were under social studies, and they have economics listed underneath those. So I'm going to see civics and government, economics, social media and the Underground Railroad lesson plan. That could be cool. Facebook, experiment, things like that. And you notice that a lot of them would be in our area or in our grade levels. So just looking around anywhere on PBS Learning Media would be cool. That's one that I didn't know about previously and thought that it was pretty cool. So that was about computer networking. TES Connect. As that one is coming up, I wanted to tell you about this learning game right here that is from Cisco. There actually are a lot of learning games that were in this login that I found, but when we're talking about networking and when we're talking about using different types of media, that Cisco is really an excellent resource, and hopefully this will come up in just a second. What I'm going to be asking everyone to do while we wait for that, I'm going to be asking everyone at the end of our session today, or before, definitely maybe a week before our next webinar, which is our last webinar. It'll be April 20th. And I'll have a link at the end of this that I need suggestions of what you guys really want me to talk about, because I can keep finding stuff, but I want to make sure that I'm really talking about the topics and giving resources, and maybe I gave resources, but you just need more explanation on how to use them, or more lesson plans, or whatever it is. I'm going to actually looks like my computer's a little bit stuck. And what this is, hopefully it'll update in just a second. So anybody have off the top of their head what kind of topics you might want to hear about, just while we wait for that to update? Hopefully my whole computer is not just stuck. Anyone know have any topics they'd like to hear about? So some of the other resources, oh, finally it's coming up. Some of the other resources that are in this PowerPoint, or is actually saved as a PDF just so I could click on these. You see right here, okay, yeah. We have some young entrepreneurs games right here. Some of them on that link right there. I'm scared to click on my internet because it might not come up, but there are some games on there that the students can play, especially our 8th graders, but it really could be for all. Techno Kids is one that they have some free resources there, but it does require a login to be able to get to those. And I have some other ones like, oh, it's finally coming up. I have some other resources that are, I don't even know what that is. Apps in Education is a great resource, but also I'm going to, there we go, It usually never takes this long, but you can see here this is about networking. That was that TES Connect. And if you click on that, I'm not going to click on it right now because I'm scared it'll kind of crash, but if you click on that right there, it goes through some static resources, not videos, not interactive, but it has really good, excellent information that can teach the kids some basic information about computer networks. So it's a really good resource. It usually doesn't take that long. I'm going to click this Middle School Computer Projects app and show y'all. I have had a resource called Middle Web, and that one's great. It is specifically a blog that will tell you all things middle school, not just business, but all things middle school kids. And you can see here, this is middleschoolcomputerprojects.org. There are all kinds of Microsoft Office projects, and so that one could be milkshake report and pie chart. I thought that was a little bit funny. Soda report and pie chart. Different types of Microsoft Office projects. Also, GaDOE programming is another option. Now this one does require you to download software onto your computers, so that's why I kind of didn't bring it up earlier. But GaDOE programming is really cool. Also, if you do already do Scratch programming, here are some extra or more advanced projects that you could go through and do with your students. So that Microsoft Office seemed pretty cool. Link up at the top, and it talks about maybe a movie report that you're having your students do, or PowerPoints where if you have discount, that's talking about business math. So that could be a way you're incorporating a different content area into that. I know we have some questions in the chat box, and I'll answer those in just a second. I'm going to click on All-Terrain Brain right here. And this is about youth entrepreneur education. Now, I did apply for, I know I talked about last time, Junior Achievement, and I did apply for Junior Achievement, like a login and to partner with them, but I still haven't received any kind of login or anything like that from them. But you see here, educators, you can go here to All-Terrain Brain, and they have all kinds of topics that are specific to entrepreneurs, and they have group activities, animated videos, creativity, thinking, you know, things that help them set goals, solve problems. They have standards, printables, but they also have activity guides, and they were really cute videos that I really liked. And what I liked was off-road. They'll tell you, hey, here's how to take it a little bit further past this little small project and how the students can dive in further. So that one's pretty cute as well. I'm going to answer a couple questions because we only have about 10 minutes left. Slides are not fun. Oh, good. I'm glad to see somebody uses all-terrain. No one likes SLOs, but we still have to just keep on trucking. I'm looking forward to rewriting mine at the end of this year with my other students. I'm trying to find how long do I spend on topics like economics or accounting. Accounting I usually spend 3 days on. I try to barely graze the surface. Same thing with risk management. It might take a couple extra days. But economics I usually end up spending 4 or 5 days on. And just because the topics are so much more in depth and they're much more difficult for my students to really grab onto those concepts. And to be honest, this year, this is the 4th 9 weeks, and I have not done the exact same economics unit or lesson plan all 4 9 weeks. I have changed it up because maybe I did one and it worked okay, but I had to find something else to do because they didn't like it or they didn't get what I needed them out of that. Like I said before, no, I'm not enjoying my SLO, and y'all can see this happens to me a lot. This is one that I found at home yesterday whenever I was preparing, and this apps in education is blocked on my school computer, so I can't show you all that one. Minecraft EDU is not free. Excuse me, it has to have a login. There are some free parts to it, and we haven't started quite yet with Minecraft, but that is something that I have lots of teachers who tell me that is a really excellent thing. And that does come with lesson plans and good info for teachers. I still have some really good teacher live binders. If you would like yours to be on this list, or you have some extra resources that you want submitted, please let me know. And I'm going to restate this. Our last webinar is April 20th, which is a Monday, and it is at 4 p.m. What would you like to share with us? What would you like to maybe give us some resources, and what would you like me to focus on this last webinar session? I didn't get a whole lot of responses. I did get one that I'll talk about in a second that was a tough question for me. But I would really love everyone to submit a question that you've had or feedback. You need help in what area, or if you don't need help in any area, if you have a good resource that I haven't mentioned, or you could tell me how we have how you have started using some of this in your class, or something positive that you've used in your class that could help us, that would be awesome. I would love to share that. I can give y'all the link to the entire all the responses that everyone sends, and I'll definitely put that up as well. I'm going to copy this and put it both in the chat box and into the Today's Meet chat box. So I just stuck it in the webinar chat box, and I am putting in our other one. I see how to properly teach the 8th grade curriculum was one question, and I hope I'm doing it properly. That's all I can say. I have tons of resources, and I am trying to do more of a flipped classroom or blended online classroom. I can't get this link to post into the Today's Meet chat box. Oh, there it goes. Wonderful. That is the Google form that you can send questions, comments, resources, or topics that you want us to talk about. If you would please, I definitely will take it in the Today's Meet chat box or in this form that you're seeing right now. So, last webinar. I will talk to John and also to Delda. I know some of y'all have really asked about how can we get a PLU for this. Now, initially I was a little bit hesitant because that would be 57 people sending me emails about this, that, and the other, but I know that you guys want these PLUs, and I am definitely open to that. After asking John and Delda what is required to receive the PLU, I will send out a mass email and let you guys know. I would like to say by this Friday to everyone, letting y'all know what you need to do, and it's probably going to be give me a lesson or a lesson plan or a resource that you use in your classroom or that you found that is awesome, something that we can use for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, or 6th, 7th, or 8th grade business, anything that you have that you're using, but specifically with the lesson plans. And that will give you your PLU. And then, of course, attend that last session on, or either watch it later, on April 20th. So you guys are definitely welcome to give me suggestions. Please give me suggestions on if you have a good idea for a different option of how you could get a PLU for this. Just remember, it has to be 10 hours, and we will have used up 7 of the hours with these specific webinars. So let me know, because obviously the preparation hours for your lesson plan would count towards your hours. So y'all let me know what you think, and I'm always open to any suggestions. So that is all I have for today. If you guys would like to ask, oh, actually I have one more thing to say. I had a person who sent me a question in that form that is up there right now, and their question was, their principal has asked them, how are they using data-driven differentiation in their classroom? How is their data driving their instruction, and how are they differentiating for their students in the business classroom? Well, I talked to my principal about it, and I said, so what do you think? What exactly is, how am I doing that, or how should I be doing that? And he said the only data that he really sees is that the SLO data. So how are you taking that pre-test and opening up different options, different strategies for your students to be able to learn, focus on the different standards that they have not met based on what they scored on their pretest. So, and I'll just go ahead. Well, someone said, Amanda said, we don't get to see the questions on SLOs, so how can we use the data? You should have a table of specifications, and your table of specs should tell you what question is associated with what standard. So, if question 1 is standard 7 and question 2 is standard 11, you should at least know that if most of your students got correct question 11, and question 11 is about standard 1, which is keyboarding, then keyboarding is something that you shouldn't be focusing on. Keyboarding is something that you can reinforce, you can talk about, but if a majority of those students got that question right, that's one that you can just say, okay, they know that, I can move on. Or pie charts, or not pie charts, but Excel or spreadsheets is something that most of them already know walking into it. That's how you can use that data-driven instruction to modify what you're teaching. Also, another option would be, I have used forms, Google Forms, in my classroom before as my ticket out the door. I've talked before how I hate using paper and passing out paper and keeping up with paper, but I can use Google Forms to find out what do students know about their Excel spreadsheets. What do they still need? Like, what's something they learned? What's something that they still need more instruction on? What's something they're unclear about? And instead of having to raise their hand or give them, mark off points, I can see that, okay, I explained how to change colors in a pie chart, and I thought I did everything exactly like that I'm supposed to, and they got every single thing that they needed to get out of it. But when I got back my results from my ticket out the door, I saw that 80% of my students did not understand what I was talking about when I talked about changing colors in a pie chart. So I changed my instruction for the next day based on what that assessment data told me. Ellen, I will say this about SLOs. Ellen says, my SLO is not doing exactly what the idea of SLOs intended. I'm struggling myself. 335%. I'm not sure that's what you meant to put. I have maybe some of the top students in the class who are scoring, let's say, 70% at the beginning, and then they score 65% on their post-test. So I'm pretty sure mine are not showing what they're supposed to either. So I have no idea. I apologize, but that is, I am with you guys, and I am just doing what I can. So I really, really, really urge you guys, please, please help me out for this last session, and please tell me specifics on what you would like to talk about. And I could even go in more in depth on how I use those Google Forms and how I get that data, and then how I use it to alter my instruction for the next day or for the next lesson. So please go to that link I sent or in my PowerPoint, and I will see you next time, April 20th at 4 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording, or ask John, can you stop the recording for me? And I'll see you guys next time. John, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, can you stop the recording